Okay, hi everybody. Good evening. Maybe close to night for some people. So, in today's session, we'll be talking about what should be your QA roadmap be, how should you prepare for QA, what are the areas which you really focus on, what are the areas you can kind of not focus on too much, your complete syllabus, strategy, every discussion we'll take up today. So, a quick confirmation, just whether you can hear me as well as you can see me. So, Sanya, can you just tell us whether you can hear me and see me? Okay. Great. So, I've got confirmation that you all can hear me and see me properly. So, let's start. I'm Amit Panchmatia, and I'll be taking you through this whole session today where we'll discuss about everything which you have around QA. Any discussion, any doubts, how will iQuanta help you to resolve them, what are the different things which we give you for that, everything. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's start. Okay, so these are some of the sessions we are having in week 1. So for people who have already enrolled or who are going to enroll, accordingly you will get classes. Hello Sneha. Okay, so the foundation series for CAT 26 has already started. Now, what is the objective of today's session? So my logic, there's a very good saying over here, we've just put that down over here. Knowing what matters is more important than knowing everything. So you really need to know what to study, which areas to really concentrate on, what are the areas you cannot focus so much on. Should I focus on geometry too much? What about algebra? I am a commerce student, I'm weak at mathematics, how should I go about it? And so on, all those queries which you'll have, we can take up. So people can keep writing their queries, we'll try and answer them as I keep going through it. Okay. So, first, our first agenda is to be removing the fear around quant. So we'll talk about that a little bit. I don't want any fear around quant, so let's talk about that. Clarity on syllabus. What is the exact syllabus? What are the topics which are asked in the exam? Obviously, see, CAT does not come out with a syllabus. CAT does not define any syllabus. But our whole aim is that we talk about it in such a way that based on past experience, we talk about a syllabus. There is no such thing that CAT cannot ask something very untoward next year. It might ask, and there is no, you can't go and challenge it. Oh, why did they ask that question? There's nothing like that. What should your preparation roadmap be? And let's set some expectations correctly. So this is your agenda for the day. We'll talk about these 4 areas, and as I said, if you all have queries, please start posting. Yes, you can enroll around the first week of Jan. That should not be a problem. But as I've always said, the earlier the better. So let's first talk about clarity. Let's bring that clarity. Half the fear goes away, when you have clarity that this is my whole plan. I want to break up everything into different parts such a way that things will work. So break quant into manageable topics or break it into manageable areas, as I say. So, okay, there will be topics which are manageable in terms of, okay, some people will find percentages and profit and loss manageable. Somebody will find a little bit algebra manageable. So that's okay. Break it into manageable topics. I would say even break it into subtopics. I don't even say only topics, but even later at some stage I tell people break it into subtopics. Learn HCF, LCM, learn numbers and so on. Okay. Adhuri, CAT 27 aspirant, you can at least go through it and learn. There's nothing wrong in it. You're not going to have any problem. Okay, how many questions should be done in a day, sir? We'll come to that, Pratiksha. I'll talk about how much time you should give. Now, out of that, how much time do you give to questions? How much time do you give to concepts and so on is very important. Now, focus on understanding, not speed. This is at least for more than half of your time period. So whatever your time period from here to CAT, for more than half of the time period, I want you to focus on understanding the concepts, understanding the problem. I always have this point, I don't know how many people have heard me saying this before. Maths, half of maths is learning how to convert English to maths. if you can convert English to maths, you can always learn maths well. Okay, so Vedant is saying something. Any guidance for a CAT 25 students? I got 25 in QA, 24 in BRC, but failed in DILR. What should I do? Practice questions and mock self or join any coaching? I'll come to that, Vedant. You will definitely need a test series. I'll come to that discussion. Okay. Working professionals, Simran Agarwal, we will talk about them. First, let's talk about generic quant things and then we'll talk about specific cases also. So like working professionals, I have a strategy on how should working professionals prepare for CAT. How do you make use of your weekends well? How do you make use of those exact half an hour gaps in between which you have, say, a lunch break or leaving from office, coming back from office? How do you make use of all that? Focus on understanding this. Now, two very important questions. Come on, why don't people answer this in the chat? Were you a good mathematics student in school, or were you good at mathematics in school? And second one, are you in touch with mathematics? And then do you love or hate maths? Come on, I would like to hear this from everybody. Great, Nitin, you can be here for this session and then we can talk about it as you go ahead. Okay. Yes, no, yes. So somebody says, I was good at maths in school. I'm not in touch with maths. But do you love maths or hate maths? There you'll have to just say love or hate. So Krishna is saying not good at mathematics at all. Average student in mathematics, not hate maths nor love it. Okay. That's a different one. Normally maths is, maths में बहुत clarity होता है. Either I hate maths or I love maths. Very few people are kind of in between. So somebody in school was in love with it and now you hate it. What is it, Sanya? Okay, not good at mathematics. Okay, cool. So we've got some statements. Let's try and understand them. Okay. If you were really, really very good at school maths and if you've been in touch with maths, so you took maths till 12th standard and then also in your engineering or your commerce or your BBA, whatever, you had maths for a couple of semesters. Okay. So coming to concepts is so much later. Do you look at numbers and do you have an affinity for numbers? Okay. Now I'll just tell you something which will maybe help you understand what I'm trying to ask. Pay attention. Just let's listen to this very carefully. Suppose I say there are 4 blanks and all these 4 blanks I have going to have 4 numbers where I have to write 1, 2 and 3 and then I can repeat any one of them. So 1, 2 and 3 has to be there and the 4th number can be repeated. Now tell me what is the minimum total and what is the maximum total you can go around with that. Okay, Malay, I'll come back to that. Okay, nice, Mohit. So understand, do you love numbers? When you look at numbers, do you feel excited? Okay, say, हाँ यार ये तो थोड़ा interesting है. अभी ये तो बहुत simple सा example बनाया है. So the minimum total you can go for is 7 and the maximum total you can go for is 9. How 6? I said there were 4 blanks. So 1, 2, 3 is already 6. In the 4th one, you need to repeat one of them at least. So minimum you can repeat 1, maximum you can repeat 3. So your minimum total can be 7 and the maximum total can be 9. And this is what I'm talking about. Affinity for numbers. Do I have that affinity for numbers? Do I look at multiplications and say, oh God, just for example, random numbers I'm taking, okay? I have not thought of these numbers. Say if I'm saying 71 into 28. How am I thinking of this? Looking at this and saying, oh God, let me open the calculator. Or am I thinking, okay, can I do 70 into 30 minus 2? 71 into 30 minus 2. This might not be a bad case. 71 threes should not be a difficult number. 71 twos is 142. So this is like 213. 2130 minus 142. Are you thinking all of these things? That's important. Whether you finally do it, not do it, will come at a much later stage. Are you even making the effort? Or you're saying, okay, just let me open the calculator. Doesn't work for me. So these are the things you all will have to change. Over the period of the 1 year, what you need to do is you need to learn to break up small things. Like most of you all might know how to calculate LCM. Just asking. Most of you all might know how to calculate LCM. But if I ask you, what is the LCM of 45 and 55? how many people are doing it in a different way? Instead of doing regular school day LCM method, how many people are saying, okay, this is 5 nines, this is 5 11s, which means 5 will come one time, 9 will come one time, 11 will come one time, and this becomes my LCM. Okay, so all these things are important. Getting those intermediate things that, and it's not about, see, somebody will do a 45 and 55 LCM by regular method, will still get the answer. I just want to understand today, people who love maths will always think of different approaches. They will not get stuck to one approach, and that's the important part. Okay, so obviously if you are good at mathematics, yeah, so Krishna, this is very basic. This is just the very basic stuff I told you. Now, as I go ahead, we will talk about some things and maybe what happened in this year's CAT, a couple of things and so on. If you are good at school mathematics, you will have that much advantage. But if you are not good, only thing which you'll have to do is you'll have to work a little bit towards it. So that's where comes in our first step, where we talk about bringing clarity. So even before this, I want to talk about how do I handle the basics of mathematics? How do I do that basics? So for example, when I say, just a simple example, chalo. Let me take a simple example. Suppose a family has 8 members. Their average age is 25 years today. This is in 2025. There are 8 members, average age is 25 years. In 2030, what will be their average age? Now think very simple. Again, this is basic stuff, but I want to understand that how many people are doing, okay, 8 log the, unka age 25 tha, so their total is 25, 8s are 200. No, all this is not needed. In 25 and 2030, that means after 5 years, which means everybody will grow older by 5 years. Everybody will grow older by 5 years. That means average will also go up only by 5 years, no? You don't have to do any calculations or anything. That's how you look at stuff. Other things are converting maths, English to maths. A question is framed in English. How do you convert it well to maths? That's very, very important. Okay. So I'm ready to handle basic, but sir, you have to guide us. Obviously, Mohit. In fact, that's where we start with. We have a module, in fact, which we are now again adding a lot of more stuff, which is called as non-engineers QA. Now, what is this non-engineers QA? Here we actually look at a lot of school day syllabus which is relevant to CAT. School में बहुत कुछ सिखाया होगा which might not be relevant to CAT, but what all is relevant to CAT, we've created around 70-75 videos and we give it to you with a lot of examples so that the basics get cleared. Now this is roughly a 35-hour videos. Now if I look at a 35-hour video, which means to study it, you might take around 100 hours, because every video you'll have to pause, you'll have to study with it and so on. So you need 100-120 hours to study non-engineers QA, especially for those students who are not very good with mathematics. Okay. Now what you have to look at is that your whole point has to be, you have to start thinking, even if you're an engineer or even if you're good at QA, you still should do this. Maybe you will take only 50 hours to do it. I'm okay with it, but you should still do it. You can't say, okay, no, I remember everything. You might remember most of the thing, but do you remember what is Apollonius theorem? I'm sure there are very, very few people. Okay. Mohit, we are talking about our material, so don't worry about anything outside. If you're an iQuanta student, you will not need any outside material. How many people remember, let me see, how many people remember a theorem called Apollonius theorem from school in geometry? Okay, I'm waiting for that answer. I think barely anybody will remember. But you know the theorem, or you just know that there is a name, or you know how to use it also. So if you know how to use it also, that's great. I'm very, very happy. Otherwise, it's just a name. See, most of the people know how to use Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras sabko yaad hai. if this is 5, this is 12, what is this? Everybody can find this. Okay. Great. If Anjali, if you remember the theorem, I'm very happy. So somebody saying I didn't even know there was a theorem like that. See, this is what happens, and that is why you need to do school maths well. Like in geometry, you will need to do similarity. You will need to know what is height of an equilateral triangle, area of an equilateral triangle. In percentages, you all will know how to do calculations of percentages well, smarter ways of doing percentage calculations. Okay, all these things become very, very important. Like one of my most common thing which I talk about in such sessions is, can anybody tell me what is 68% of 25 without touching pen to paper or without even touching a calculator? Let's see if anybody can get it. What is 68% of 25 without touching anything? Mohit, is 13 that answer which 13, actually you give the answer for that. Okay, so somebody's given an answer over here, Sania. I hope you've not touched pen to paper and you've not touched calculator. 2 people are giving me the right answer. Great. So now what is the logic over here? Very simple. 68% of 25 is same as 25% of 68. The logic is that. Okay. And when I do 25% of something, it simply means 1/4 of something. When I say 25%, तुम अगर एक तुम्हारे पास एक केक है, उसको तुम 25% of the cake you take, which means you've taken 1/4 of the cake. So 1/4 of 68 is nothing but 17. Right? So 25% is 1/4, which is 25 upon 100. But I've just explained it without the 100. So I wanted to explain that 1/4 of 68 is 17. And that's how this comes. So basically knowing that 68% of 25 is same as 25% of 68 is just a smarter way of looking at it, is what I want to explain. And that way there will be so many smart things which we will learn over the period of one year, which you will have from year to CAT and the other test. Okay. So we spoke about this. Let's come to that. Now, confusion comes from not knowing what to study next. Can we do it like this too? What is this like this too, Pratiksha? I didn't get your method. I didn't read what you've written. Yeah, that's exactly the concept. You can flip it, and that's the logic. And you can flip it for any number. That's the best part. So again, chalo, since somebody got interested there, let me take you to one more example. What is 90% of 33.33? What is 90% of 33.33? So this is as good as 33.33% of 90. And 33.33% is nothing but 1/3. And 1/3 of 90 therefore becomes 30. Did you see? It's an interesting thing. Obviously, this is one very, very basic stuff. There will be a lot more such things. Yes, Pratiksha, you can do that. Are you clear now? Everybody understood what we are doing? Great. Obviously, we don't want to solve too many questions today. So, you need to have clarity what is your next step of studies. Most commonly, people have a problem is that they don't know what to study next. Step 1, I should study basic stuff. Uske baad kya? What is my next level? What is my third level? What is my fourth level? What is my fifth level? What are my steps in detail? Once I know these steps in detail till next November, whatever next November ka date CAT will happen, 27, 28 November it will happen. Till then, if you have clarity that this is what exactly I have to study, then you will always do well. So let's talk about that. So first, before that, we talk about CAT's syllabus and weightage. Now, CAT has these 5 areas, numbers, arithmetic, algebra, geometry, modern maths. Now, even before I go ahead and, so this is the weightage which CAT is asking them on. So obviously, if you notice this, arithmetic is the most important area. The way it is asked in CAT, arithmetic is the most area. A lot of people will say algebra is also equally important area. Yes, it is an equally important area, but why is arithmetic more important? Because the number of easy questions from arithmetic are more in the test than the number of easy questions of algebra. So algebra will also have topics like functions, maxima, minima, graphs, which are slightly more difficult topics. And Hence, it will always be easier to score from arithmetic than from algebra. So that is why I would recommend that this is how you should prepare. Like I normally tell people, their preparation order should be this. You should always be completely ready with arithmetic, then with algebra, then comes geometry, then numbers, and then modern maths. Okay. But now there is a catch over here. It can't be so straightforward. The problem is, when people say, okay, sir ne bola hai numbers fourth karne ka, so I will not touch numbers now. But that doesn't work, because numbers will have some basic topics like which you will need. You will need numbers mein se topic like HCF, LCM. You will need factors. You will need indices. So these topics you will still need to do even before you start with arithmetic stuffs. Same way algebra mein se you will need how to solve a linear equation, how to solve a quadratic equation. Even because finally when you will solve a percentage ka problem question, you might have at the end land up with a linear equation question. And if you don't know that, you will have to. So there are sometimes it's not just blindly, okay, finish all numbers, then finish all algebra, then finish arithmetic. Aisa nahi hota hai. You do little bit numbers, you do little bit algebra, then arithmetic comes majorly, then come back on numbers and algebra, and then at the end modern maths. Yantim art by Yantim. So obviously you can go to our website, or somebody else will get in touch with you. You can just leave your inquiry. Okay. Should I leave something altogether? So Malay has got a question. Should I leave geometry altogether? Frankly, no, Malay. I'll tell you why. I never advise to leave anything altogether. Because what happens when you start leaving altogether stuff, no? What if there's a very, very straightforward question from that topic? When there's a very, very straightforward question together from topic, no? Suddenly what happens is ab tum stuck ho. Sabko wo question bahut easy laga. 2 geometry के questions आए test में which are very easy, and Malay is thinking, oh shit, I didn't touch geometry, and hence I left geometry. I left those questions even without thinking. Yes, modern maths is mainly permutation and combination, and probability mainly. Okay, so those two areas, CAT is barely testing them nowadays. Maybe one question at the most in the last couple of years. Otherwise, don't worry about it too much. So obviously you should do this, but at a much later date. Okay, Malay. So I would never advise to leave something very completely. If it's your weak area, at least do all, as I call them, level A questions. So I always divide, all teachers and all will divide questions into 3 levels: level A, level B, level C. Level A is what we call, yaar, ye to mujhe aata hi aata hai, 100%. Level B, it's somewhere in between. Level C, God knows what they're saying. I don't even understand what they're trying to say. So those level A questions you always want to do from every topic. Whether it's a difficult area of yours also, you will still do that. Right? Cool? Let's go ahead. So these are the 5 areas mainly. Now I'm going to break up the areas. We've done a lot of research on that, and we're going to talk about the breaking up of the areas. So you can actually see the chapters within this. This, if you want, you can just take a screenshot right now. Okay, I am not going to read everything because finally it is just topics and names. And when you will see what we also create in terms of every concept and everything, these trailing zeros, like, see, most of the other names you would have heard, but this trailing zeros and last digit, you might have never heard such topics. What do you mean by trailing zeros and last digit? Other names you've already heard in school or something or the other. But very frankly, these are both. Okay, so Sonali is saying, sir, that it never happens that I come back to it. But Sonali, that's why. So when it is taught in class, always pay attention to at least level A questions and tell yourself, okay, I'm going to go through the level A questions. Ask your sir, ma'am, whoever it is to tell you that, sir, can you just tell me which are the level A questions on this topic which I can do? And I'll at least like to do that much. Yeah, so people who've done for CAT coaching will know what trailing zero and last digits are. So for example, if I just say 100 factorial, you know what's the meaning of a factorial? So Anjali is saying not heard. Obviously, Anjali, I don't expect you to be here. Now, what is a factorial? When I write 5 factorial, it means 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Now, 100 factorial will mean 100 into 99 into 98 into 97 up till 1. Now, the question over here can be 100 factorial has how many trailing zeros? Obviously, you can't multiply this even on the calculator. It's impossible to multiply this, right? 100 into 98 into 97 and so on up till 1, you can't multiply it. But there is a trick to find how many trailing zeros it will have. That means when I get the answer for 100 factorial, at the end of it, how many zeros will be there? So that's the topic. Well, for the ones who know it, the answer for this question I think is 24. Okay. Yeah, good, Vipul. So Vipul already knew the answer. The answer for this question is 24. It's a very easy sum. Don't worry about it. When you are taught, you will find it very easy. So it's, you can't, as I said, you can't multiply 100. So you should always think small. If I give you only 10 factorial, chalo, let's try this for 10 factorial. Come on, most of you will understand. 10 factorial will have how many trailing zeros? So this is 10 factorial. How many trailing zeros will it have? Very simple. This 10 will give me 1 0, and this 5 multiplied by 2 will give me one more 0. No other zeros will come. Rest all. Don't get into 10 factorial calculation. You can see this 10 will give you 1 0 and this 5 2s will give you one more 0. So at the end of 10 factorial, there will be 2 zeros. And वैसे सोच के, obviously you don't have to think that way, will be creating properties for you, but that logic say you can think of 100 factorial, right? And that's how it is worked on. So there are topics which you might have heard first time, are not necessarily very difficult. Topics which you have heard of before, but in CAT they might become slightly more difficult also. So all those things you'll have to think about. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this page. It will give you, this is like a number of chapters. So if I count all the chapters, there should be roughly 35 chapters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 chapters over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 roughly over here. This is 6 over here. These are not so many chapters. Number system is normally 5 to 6 chapters and modern maths is 3. So this roughly makes it around 30-35 chapters. Now whether we break it up more, whether we break it up less, finally if you break a chapter up into 2 parts and then teach it, it's as good as learning 2 different chapters, but that's okay. Will questions be provided like level A and so on in iQuanta classes? So iQuanta classes, they might be not broken up as level A, but as we go ahead, we will definitely categorize them that these were level A, level B and level C. So one very important thing which I will keep doing is whenever you see me solving a question, I will always talk about whether this was a level A sum, whether should you have attempted it, should you have not attempted it, and so on, so on. Okay. Now let's talk about a vice versa thing, percentage weightage of particular topics in CAT. Now this is a very detailed analysis. So if you want, again, you can just take a screenshot. But over the last 7-8 years, time, speed, distance is the most asked topic in CAT. Time, speed, distance has been the most asked topic in CAT. 8.24%. Now when I say 8% out of 100, it means 8 questions out of 100, which means out of 22, roughly 2 or 3 questions. Okay, maybe not 3, but more or less 2 questions and so on. So 8.24% of something is time, speed, distance, one of the most important topics. Then there is sequence series. So even if you look at the first page and tell yourself, wow, मुझे अगर इतना भी अच्छे से आता है, तो I will definitely clear CAT. Simple logic. I'm saying 110%. Even if you know the topics on the first page, you will clear CAT topic. I'm saying don't even worry about page 2 and page 3. Yes, page 2 and page 3 also has very important topics. I'm not saying no, but if you know everything on page 1, you will clear CAT. Obviously, there are a lot of easy topics over here. Ratio is easy. Simple interest, compound interest is very easy. Linear equation is easy, and so on. And if you studied well with me, you will find circles and quadrilaterals also easy. Geometry is one of my favorite areas to learn and teach. So I have a lot of passion for geometry. Once I teach geometry, I've seen people, it stays put in your brains. Okay. So these are the topics. If you want screenshots, you can take again screenshots. Here we talking about the weightage of topic wise. Okay. Obviously the बंद हो गया, दिख रहा है chat, I can see the chat. Okay, Malay, chalo, let's go ahead. Time to required to complete the syllabus for a CAT 99.9 percentile. Let's say you want to go through this whole journey and want to try and reach 99.9 percentile. Then December, somewhere middle of January tak is half of building your basics. Then there's a phase of January to June where you complete the main syllabus, where you attend your live classes, attend the application classes, do the stuff. I'll explain that also, that journey also I'll explain. July to September is mock test and practice each topic. And then October to November is full revision and crash course. Okay. So this is how you go about it. This is the way we go about it. Okay. Now, for me, this is the journey which you should be looking at, and pay attention to this very carefully. Let's go through this. Your first step is basics, where we talk about non-engineers QA module, where, as I said, we are adding more stuff this year. We are adding more videos this year, and where we talk about basic stuffs also. Say how to solve a quadratic equation smartly, how to look at a linear equation smartly, everything, like how you just saw that LCM approach smartly. Can you do things smarter, and so on. Then, so this is something which you do, okay, through videos. Then comes your CAT level concepts and questions, which you do in your live classes. So in your live class, which will be like 3 days a week, 4 days a week, depending on when your batch has started, maybe even 5 days a week, depending on when your batch has started, we'll be doing live classes where we'll do CAT level concepts, and we will do questions also of CAT level. And so these topics will reinforce whatever you've learned through basics. It will take you to the next level. It will teach you the CAT level questions and all. Practice and solve next level question. That comes through our application classes, which happens every day in the night 10 to 12. So night 10 to 12, we have application classes, which will where we will talk about the next level questions, some next level concepts also over here, and so on. Obviously from that particular area only. Then comes, now one more thing which people have to understand. Listen to this very carefully. Nothing, not a sport, not CAT studies, not 10th standard studies, not rocket science studies or anything else can happen just by seeing videos. Like if you just see all the videos which I have made in CAT, and then you go and try to attempt CAT, it is going to say that I saw all the videos which of Sachin Tendulkar and Virat Kohli on YouTube, and now I will go and play in Australia and I'll face, say, the best fast bowlers over there like Pat Cummins or something. Is that possible? No worries, Krishna. So we'll discuss them also. We'll take times. Okay. So please understand that solving is very important. What are you doing? Seeing video is not your part of your work. Seeing video is what we've given you extra, but your part of the effort is actually solving questions. More practice and test, which is the assignment and test come in. So then the section level test comes in, where we talk about whole mathematics together, or module level tests also are there. Module 1, module 2, only algebra, only geometry, all such tests will come in. And then finally, the most important part in a student's CAT journey is, so Malay will break them down for you, don't worry. So mocks test series is the most important part, the very, I don't think that anybody can clear CAT without writing good quality mocks, and that is going to be our aim this year at iQuanta, to give you the best quality mocks. So I specialize in that. People who know me from before know that I specialize in mocks, mock video solutions, making mocks and all those, and that will be my main role in terms of this year, to give you excellent high quality mocks. Okay. So everybody is clear till here. This, I would want everybody to keep this in mind. Whenever you will ask me, sir, what should I do? How should I start to end do a chapter? I will tell you your start to end for this chapter will be from here to here. Pay attention, just marking it. say from here to here will be your start to end of a chapter. If you look at any one chapter, have you done the basic non-engineers QA module, live classes, application class, and then more practice and test through assignments and tests. If you've done all this, you more or less have completed the chapter. So this is what we are talking about, non-engineers quant. We have roughly 70 videos, 35 hours. We'll be adding more, and which will help you do every topic in detail. Set expectations correctly. Don't think that oh मैंने ये 4 वीडियो देख लिया अब तो मैं टाइम स्पीड डिस्टेंस का हीरो बन गया, मुझे टाइम स्पीड डिस्टेंस से सब क्वेश्चन आते हैं अभी, आई विल बी एबल टू डू. नथिंग लाइक दैट वर्क्स. So for that we have the revision and the crash course also. Right expectations turn preparation into progress. Now remember, improvement is slow and uneven. Everybody will not have similar improvement, everybody will not improve with the same pace, and you will improve at some topics very quickly, you will improve at some other topics very slowly. Okay, one very good way to see if you are ready with a chapter is actually to say, okay, tomorrow, suppose just for example you have a chapter like profit and loss, and if you want to be sure you're thorough with the chapter, you collect 3 friends of yours who are preparing for CAT and tell them, okay, I will teach you profit and loss tomorrow. If you are able to teach somebody a topic, you are thoroughly prepared for it. So your preparation should be at that level, saying that I want to teach this chapter, not only learn it. Remember, mocks are diagnostic tools, not report cards. So people don't write mocks for the fear of getting a low score. But if you don't write mocks, it is like saying I will not practice, or I will, before the World Cup, cricketers will say, oh, I will not play any other matches between from here to the World Cup, I will go and straight play the World Cup. Does that work? No, it doesn't work, right? So you have to keep writing mocks very seriously. You have to look at every step very seriously. You have to learn from the mistakes of your mocks, the AI powered tools which are given to give you this year to analyze your mocks on that. Remember, depth matters more than coverage. Instead of doing all 35 topics really well, I would prefer that you do instead of doing all 35 topics superficially, I would expect you to do 20-25 thoroughly. And simple, I'm sure you've heard this on Instagram also a lot of nowadays, discipline beats motivation. Okay? So Sneha, there will be a lot of stuff we will explain to you in the videos only, that now you've done this video, what is the next step, where can you go, you have assignments available for you to solve those practice questions and so on. Okay, how to cover this video, sir, with you, or we can do it any time, but if I have to cover both 3 sections with basics you all will cover on your own. Okay, after that everything else you will be covering with us. So see, Aditya, if your QA and LRDI is not very good, you should do it from basic. That's very simple. But one very important thing, discipline beats motivation. Remember, your improvement can go like this maybe. You know, you are starting suppose at 0. ये तुम्हारा graph है. Your improvement might be like this, like this, like this, very slow, very slow, very slow. You're here only. June, July आ गया and you're here. You never know that one fine moment where improvement will skyrocket. This point is my favorite term, which is called as inflection point. Remember, improvement doesn't happen overnight. You have to really build on it, and then at some stage it will feel now that confidence will come in. One mock ka good score and the confidence will improve and you will start looking very good. Okay, that's my favorite term, inflection point. Let's talk about what our takeaways from today were. Prepare with clarity, not anxiety. I got so many messages from CAT 25 students that I got anxiety in the exam. Please, when you if you've written enough mocks, as I was saying, if you have taken enough mocks, you should take so many mocks and so well you should take them that on the day of the CAT should feel just like another mock. So quant is learnable for everyone. Everybody should do it. You can't say that, okay, yes, you might prefer verbal over quant. And nothing wrong with that. Okay, lot of students will prefer verbal over quant. Lot of people will prefer quant over verbal. But that's not the point. You have to at least learn quant to that level that you do well at it. Know the syllabus, know your priorities. If you're very weak, suppose you're an art student who has not done maths at all and very weak at maths, then start prioritizing. Okay, I now know that these are the areas which I should concentrate on, these are the areas I should not concentrate on, and so on. Grandi Lakshmi, you should read a little bit about inflection point. It's just a general thing. Follow a practical structured roadmap. Very important. You have to have a and that's where we come into. We will give you this structured roadmap. You know, that's very, very important. A lot of people have, you know, people who, lot of people advise on social media. A lot of very good students have this advice on social media that, oh, you don't need preparation, you can prepare from YouTube. Yes, you can. I also agree, you can prepare from YouTube. But that is meant for only people who are already at a particular level. Because YouTube, there is so much random stuff happening. So many random videos, and I'm not saying they're bad. Their quality is pretty good. But so much randomness. You don't know which topic to study after which topic, what area to study after what area. Then you have to be like that Funsuk Wangdu from Three Idiots, who was so good that he could sit in any class and study anything. You're not, if you're at that level, then you don't need to worry about CAT. Okay. And as I said, again, second time, discipline beats motivation, my favorite quote. And with all this, we'll talk about our program. We will also have a QA short module where every 10 seconds, save, if you can save, 5 to 10 seconds per every question. Do you realize it will be 2 more questions, and that 2 more questions will be a difference between 95 and 98 percentile or 95 percentile. That huge differences. 5-10 seconds same period every question. If you're a CAT 25 student, in a couple of days, next 2 days, a couple of my videos will come on YouTube where I have put down CAT 25 video solutions for slot 1 and slot 3. Have a look at it and see, you will realize that some of the approaches which we have used to make the questions easier. That every minute saved can change things a lot. Okay. My favorite quote, and I believe in this completely, the harder I work, the luckier I get. Only those students tend to see or recognize patterns or problems who have solved enough of them. Okay. Only those sportsmen do well. Like I know a lot of young sportsmen, young students, people, instead of cricket, they follow football. Now I'm sure in football you've heard of that one excellent striker over the other. I don't know the names, but in my era it used to be Beckham and all those players. Why is one striker better than the other? Because he has practiced that, maybe trapping the ball and shooting it in the goal or heading it in the goal much more than the others. And at sometimes you might feel he was lucky, but he's actually not lucky. He's actually practiced that so hard that he has made it look very easy. So Aditya Tiwari is saying, will you be taking quants? No, will there be sharing of the syllabus? I will be taking topics, but I will also be creating a lot of content for you in terms of videos. So remember that at the end of the year, you will see me a lot more. In fact, so many students write to me in the last 5-7 years, so many people have written to me one thing. That's in the last 6 months before CAT, we saw more of you than our own friends. And that's I would say, always a very nice thing to hear. That means students are saying so much of me in terms of videos and the solutions and everything. This is our full course detail. You can have a look at it. You can take a screenshot, how much data we're giving you, where we're giving you, what's your basic modules, what's your full CAT course, and so on. Okay. Aditya, I hope I have answered your question. So now if people have some queries, I can take some queries, and I think we've answered enough questions. Okay, now one question I see, how many hours you should study? Obviously the answer बहुत generic answer do, the more the merrier, but that way it doesn't work. So I would say you should look at least 1 to 1.5 hours of only QA every day. Okay, 1 to 1.5 hour of QA every day. Then, and obviously, as you will go towards the end, September, October, November, you will have to put some more time in terms of effort. So, where is the module present 10x faster ones? That will be open for you much later. It's not open right now. What will you be going to teach? I will be teaching Quant and LRDI. I teach both the areas. So the books will also come into a stage. Right now, focus on the basic module is what I would suggest. Okay. Anybody, any more queries? If no more queries, we can end the session. I think I've just given you my 2 cents about the whole preparation. So can you give clarity about IIM ABC practice batch? Does it contain previous year's question? If yes, will they be segregated? Yes, they will be segregated topic wise. There will be last year's papers questions, and there will be replicas of those, and there will be slightly more different questions also. So there will be mixture of everything. Jai Lakshmi. Any tips for working professionals? So Simran, I had this very, so Simran, remember my thoughts come only from my older students, how they did when they actually were working. So I have a very, very good logic. That first thing is that you have to use your weekends completely for studies. Assuming you're working Monday to Friday, you have to use your weekends completely for studies. On weekdays, you'll have to find at least 4 different slots of half an hour, half an hour, half an hour each. So you don't need to study for full 2 hours. Can you start getting up in the morning half an hour early? Whatever you're doing in life, you might be getting up at 7 in the morning today or 6 in the morning. Can you start half an hour early? So that extra half an hour. Can you break your lunch time down from 1 hour to half an hour or 45 minutes to 15 minutes and get that second half an hour? Can you stay back in office late so that you can avoid the traffic? If you're living in a city like Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi, where there's a lot of traffic while going home, can you sit in office and study for half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour extra, so that when you go home, the journey which would have taken you 1 hour will now be taken only 15-20 minutes. So that is the way you study. Okay. So अगर अभी practice sessions के questions नहीं हो रहे, तो start asking the questions, start asking the right questions, start looking at the videos, start practicing, so okay, one very important thing which I have been saying from last 1 year to everybody is whenever you see a video, especially a question ka video, not a concept ka video, learn to pause the video at least 3-4 times. Okay, you pause the video, read the question. If you think you can start. If you think you are stuck, start the video, see how the professor has started it, and then again pause it, then try to complete it. And that is how you should see videos. You should never see the whole question. Always when you're seeing videos, keep a paper pen next to you and ready for studies. So IIM ABC batch ko to time hai. First let's finish off all the regular stuff and then we'll come to that. So Simran, I hope I answered your query and gave you some details over here. And then Simran, you know, we have to start taking all our, you have to take CAT seriously. So तुमको office में थोड़ा unpaid leaves, थोड़ा sick leaves, ये वो extra कर करके, you have to get your time for studies well. Great, I hope you will do well. So when you see concept and application classes, you always, even during the concept classes, there will be a lot of examples. So a concept will be taught. I will say teach one example. The second example you should try on your own. Jayalakshmi, you should never just see the whole video. If it's a 10-minute video, don't watch educational videos like a Netflix series. You always pause videos, solve a little bit, and now what questions and from where I need to, so for that we have our assignments, we have our application class. So the application classes which happen 10 to 12 have extra questions. You can always pause those videos, watch them later and do that way. So there's a lot of flexibility you'll have in those terms. And remember, this is one thing I'm telling you, every single live class which you come from, if you are prepared for 15 to 20 minutes before that class, I will tell you exactly what to prepare for. But if you take that seriously and prepare for 15 to 20 minutes before that class, no, your class ka improvement will be drastically high. Okay, so always do that, Jayalakshmi. Okay, any more queries, anybody? Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Then we'll hope to see you in the classes, and thank you again. Best of luck. And for anybody who is not registered, can register. Somebody had messaged that they want to register. You can just call up iQuanta's numbers and you can register there also. Okay, thank you. Good night, everybody. So, Jayalakshmi, exactly. I will if you can prepare the basic module. If you are not a very good student, you should prepare the basic module. Students who are slightly good can start preparing the concepts around that. So, though all those we will relate that before this class, watch this, before this class, watch this, that way. Okay. Good night. Thank you so much. Good night, Krishna. And bye, everyone.